good afternoon, good evening. Not sure what time
Uh,
individuals will be watching. Hi, Kathy. Welcome. We are so happy to have you with us this morning.
Yay. She's one of my novels.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Oh, she's one of your Nabo sisters.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
so exciting. I'm just going to start with this webinar is provided for educational purposes only. So, any information that is shared, we always suggest that you contact your own professional regarding guidance. And we are excited. We're going to ask that you put your phones on silent, mute your devices so that we can have the best sound quality for this meeting. It is being recorded, and we will be sending out a replay of this event and also possibly having it on our YouTube page. So, this is the question that I have for you. I am Renee Scott, and the question is: are you drowning in receipts? Do you dread this time of year? Are you procrastinating pulling your information together for your accountant? Do you want to better understand your tax documents? If so, we are happy that you are here because we're going to be covering a lot of that this morning because we want to help turn your tax season from this dreaded chore into a strategic advantage for your business. And so, what you're going to get today is you're going to walk away knowing how to set up your systems that work for you, especially around tax time. You're going to be able to spot opportunities for tax efficiency and also really kind of leverage your tax planning, right? To fuel your growth for next year, being able to take a look at those tax documents and determine how can I grow next year. So no matter whether you're drowning in those receipts, as we said, or you are ready for your accountant and you're just wanting to level up your financial gain, this meeting this morning is for you. So let's start with a little bit of introductions and who we are. I'm going to be formally introducing Rosin a little bit later, but both of us are here this morning. Rosin and myself, Renee Scott, we are co-founders of DPI, and we are a business consulting firm. And we want to take you from chaos to calm. We want to take you further, faster. And we focus on leadership development and strategy. We're going to be introducing Lillie a little bit later, but Kathy, I know Rosalind knows you, but if you could just maybe share your information, who you are and what you do.
Sure. My name is Kathy Carlton, and I am the owner CEO of K Carlton International. We've been in business since 2002. Um, I am I have been in the shipping business for the last 40 plus years, and my own for the last 23. We move cargo all over the world. We help people solve problems of communication and breakdown and trucks breaking down and airlines not making the freight on the airline and everything that could possibly go wrong in a day, we do. So I call us problem solvers. I love what I do. I travel around the world for my business, and I'm currently the president-elect of NABO, South Florida.
Wow.
Wow, that's so
Excellent.
exciting. Congratulations.
Wow.
I know when Rosalind was president, it is a lot of work, but so fulfilling, so well worth it.
Yes.
So welcome. We're so happy that you are here with us this morning. I now have the pleasure of introducing our speaker, Lillie, and I have my notes because she has this very robust bio. And so Lillie Anthony is the founder of A&A Financial Tax Services, which is an exclusive online accounting tax firm. So they offer accounting and financial taxes, financial auditing, tax preparation, and have been doing so since 2016. Lillie is a certified enrolled agent and can serve clients in all 50 states. She's a visionary. She has a strong analytical, auditing, investigation, and interviewing skills background because she is a retired special agent with the IRS. And she worked for the IRS for 23 years. And catch this, criminal financial investigator. That was her position there. And also a revenue agent auditing businesses and individual tax returns. So we've got the elite, the best of the best. She handles our own taxes. I do want to share that she served 10 years in the United States Army, where she was captain in finance and accounting. And so, Lillie, we thank you for your services. She absolutely has a goal of educating her clients in financial planning and growing their asset wealth. So, Lillie, while you get ready,
Thank
you can
you.
go on ahead and share your screen. I am so thankful that you are here. I do want to
And
say,
while I
oh,
want to say, while she's doing that, there's
yeah,
no other relationship that is as intimate as your money. No other relationship. So having that trust and knowing, I am so thrilled that Lillie is a part of our team, because when it comes to taxes, there is incredible evidence and research showing how women are intimidated by this topic. And so we want to remove that stigma, that myth that women are not good in regards to taxes and money. And that's truly why we wanted to do this webinar. So Lillie, take it away.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate the introduction, Renee. And yes, taxes can be very stressful and annoying, and we avoid it a lot because of the stress. And I see it over and over again that clients are behind 1, 2, 3, some clients 5 and 6 years, and it's really scary. And the reason they get behind is because of the fear of owing taxes. It's not the fear of getting the tax return prepared. Usually they have the fear of owing taxes. However, if you are organized and structured, really you don't end up owing the amount of taxes that you think you may owe sometime, because you're better organized and structured and have everything in place. And the key to start early, gathering your financial documents and staying on top of the various tasks throughout the year, which will help make your filing go a lot smoother. And when you're getting organized, one, you want to start with your income documents, making sure all of your income documents are organized. Then start with your expense and deduction documents, and organizing your investment records. And those records usually don't come out to about mid-February with most of the broker companies. And then start with your tax planning strategies for the year. Because when you start getting organized for taxes in January, actually you should be focusing on the current year, because by January, it's not much more you can do for the previous year's taxes, because the cutoff is December 31st. So in January, February, it's mainly just damage control, because you didn't get a chance to get it done before December 31st. So that tax planning strategy at the beginning of the year is very, very important. And when you're organizing the income documents, you need your W-2 forms, all of your 1099s. And quite often, individuals miss some of these 1099s, especially real estate agents, insurance agents who get 15, 20, and 30 1099s from different vendors. It's important that you set up your IRS account. Go to irs.gov and set up your account, and you can see on your transcript all of your 1099s you got for that year. And the K-1s is from if you have a corporation and you need the K-1s. And other income documents would be rental properties and miscellaneous documents like that. And from the expense and deduction side, you gotta log those expenses and deductions. That helps minimize that stress at the end of the year, because now you already know what your income is, because you're getting it in your bank account every day. So, but organizing and logging those expenses help keep track of that net profit or net loss that you're dealing with throughout the year. And I'm just going to highlight a couple of the expenses, like car mileages. You can take between the mileages versus actual, but most people use the mileages. And but you need to have it logged. You got to have those mileages logged, where you went, who you spoke to, and the date. So you have to have some type of log record. And another expense that's important that a lot of clients miss is the home office expense. For the home office, you got direct home office expense and indirect home office expenses. Direct is, for example, if you painted the wall in the office, you brought a desk in the office, those are direct expenses. The indirect expenses that you are entitled to, that a lot of people miss, is that the mortgage interest, property taxes, lawn care, HOA, Any expenses relating to that house, you get a percentage of that total based on your office square footage. So again, logging all of these expenses throughout the year, especially utilities, the electric and water. You don't want to go back in January trying to log 12 months of utilities for because it's time consuming, and that's where the stress comes in. And health insurance is another one. Health insurance, if you're not itemizing health insurance, you can get a deduction on your actual 1040. If you're a self-employed individual, you can deduct yourself health insurance on your 1040. And the standard deductions for this year, this is a new chart for this year for standard deductions. Single 14,600, or married filing jointly 29,200. If you're head of household, 21,900. However, most individuals are not itemizing it like we used to in the past years because our standard deduction rate now is just so high. I mean, 29,200, that's a lot. Your mortgage interest, property taxes, charitable contributions usually don't add up to $29,200. So again, tracking all of these amounts and knowing when you can double up in 1 year. For example, if you know you can have a major medical expense going on, that you can double it up in 1 year. If it's a special charity organization that you want to donate a lump sum or amount to, knowing you can lump these amounts, because on an average year, you're not going to have the deduction. And this is the mileage rate for mileages for this year for business miles is 0.67%. And when you're organizing your investment documents, you usually get that consolidated financial statement in the month of February. Capital gains and losses, this is where you have to start monitoring those throughout the year, because you want to know if you're going to have a loss, you have ordinary income in order to take the deduction for that loss. And then the loss is then limited to $3,000, but you can carry it forward to the next year. But again, looking at these documents throughout the year, especially quarterly, if you can review some of your financial documents quarterly with your financial advisor, or either semi-annually with your financial advisor. That way you can decide whether you want to sell or hold on to an asset a little bit longer because of the gains or the losses. And my stream is covering that. Consider using expense tracking or accounting software. You can use QuickBooks, Excel spreadsheets, but you just got to have something to use that you can track and organize your expenses with. And after the tax season is done, you've got the tax return filed, a little bit of the stress is over with, but really your tax planning strategies for that year really starts right then. So it's important that you set a strategy, a plan that you want to use for the current year. And some of the tax planning strategies you need to be looking at each quarter is paying your estimated taxes. Every quarter, you can add up all of your income, minus out some of the expenses. It's kind of more of an estimate anyway. So, and then you can make the deposit of 20 to 30% of whatever that net profit is for that quarter for your estimated taxes. Set up your 401k. And you need the 401k, especially if you know you're going to have a net profit at the end of the year. Setting up that 401k in your IRA helps reduce the taxable income. If the taxable income is reduced, the tax liability is reduced. That's the amount that you're paying the federal government. And I remind my clients all the time, you're going to pay one or two accounts at the end of the year, either your 401k or the federal government. If you ignore that 401k, your tax liability is going to be a lot higher. And you're going to end up paying those extra taxes in taxes versus you could have put some of those funds in your 401k. And it's important too to review your current retirement account. If you have a 401k or IRA account and you have a net loss that year, that may be the time you can do a IRA Roth conversion. If you had a net profit of 10,000, you remove 10,000 out of your 401k to a Roth, it nets out to zero. So you're saving, and now you have funds growing in a Roth account that you can then later take out in the future tax-free. And in summary, with careful planning, you can ensure that your taxes, your tax return is efficient and accurate as possible. And right now, if we have any questions relating to specific taxes, we can talk about that.
Well, we did have a question. Lillie, thank you so much. I know I had a question initially, and you did kind of cover it regarding any tools that are available for tracking, like tracking mileage or anything of that nature. I know you said QuickBooks, especially when you were talking about logging mileage. Are you, or do you know, and you may not, of any electronic mileage tracking tools or anything of that nature that we can download, any apps?
Actually, QuickBook has a app for tracking mileages too, because I have a couple of clients that use the QuickBook app for tracking it because they use QuickBooks for monitoring their
Okay.
books and records, and they also use the app to track. But I'm sure there's several. Like I've seen them on Facebook before, different
Okay.
apps that you can use, and some of them are free depending on which step you go in with the account. So there's several apps out there that you can use for tracking the mileages and
Okay.
for the your income and expenses. You don't have to pay for QuickBooks right now if you're a small company. You can use some of those free companies out there.
Okay. This was another question. What is health insurance? If someone has health insurance through their husband, can they deduct a portion of that health insurance?
Okay, if you're okay, if the health insurance is being paid by the spouse,
Yes.
you can deduct it on the 1040. But if you're the self-employed individual, you would deduct your health insurance if you're self-employed. Did I say
Okay.
that correctly?
Yeah.
So even though the husband has their benefits through his corporate position, I'm
Mhm.
assuming what you're saying is the portion
On the
that
personal.
applies to the self-employed individual would be able to be deducted.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted
And I'll
to make,
double check on that one, but because that's kind of a iffy one. Usually, I'm seeing the ones that the self-employed individual is the one that's paying for the health insurance.
gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Especially if you have a household where both, similar to myself, where we are both entrepreneurs and being able to deduct
Mhm.
that expense for health insurance. Now, I know I wanted to just take, if you stop sharing your screen, I know
Okay.
there are some important tax dates that are coming up. And so I wanted to just have us review those because some of them are coming up literally in less than 30 days, especially for business owners. And so if you could just share with us which these dates and kind of what we need to keep in mind here.
Yes, okay. March 17th is for the filing for S corporations, nonprofit organizations, and if you're a LLC and you want to switch from a LLC to an S corp this year, you have from January to March 17th of that current year to switch to an S corporation. Otherwise, you have to wait another year. But if you're just starting that S corp, you can. It doesn't matter. You can go ahead and sign up for the S corp in that same month, January, February, whatever month you apply for the S corp. But if you're LLC and you want to convert to a S corporation, you only have that short window every year from January to March 15th or 17th, whatever the cutoff date for business returns. And then April 15th is our personal filing date. And if you're going to not be ready on April 15th, that would be the date that the extension has to be filed. The extension has to be filed by April 15th to give you that extension for October 15th. And the same thing with the business returns. If you're going to file an extension for the business return, it has to be filed on March 15th to give you that 6-month window for the business return. And then
Oh,
May.
oh,
Mhm.
sorry. Oh, I wanted to ask a question. If someone is going from sole proprietor to an LLC, is there any window of time or anything that needs to be done tax wise?
No, it's still April 15th because once the LLC is the same as a sole proprietor. The only difference is that the sole proprietor is not protected corporate wise. When you switch to the LLC, you got that corporation umbrella protection. It separates you from that business. That's the only difference, but it's still on a Schedule C, a personal 1040 tax return.
Okay, that's important to know. All right. And then we threw this here May 1st. I remember our first year in business, we missed this filing date. We were penalized $400. Am I still salty and mad? Yes.
Mhm.
And it's been 5 years. So I put this out there. And Kathy, I see you shaking your head.
Yeah.
Hopefully NABO puts out information. I know my chamber, because man, if you miss that date, May 1st,
Yeah.
whoa, that is a lot of money to pay for a very little piece of information you've got to give Sunbiz.
Yeah, and it's not even that,
Yeah.
like the money, it was your business is going to be dissolved. I'm like, oh my God, we just opened the business. It's getting ready
Yeah.
to be dissolved. Yeah. May 1st is an important deadline.
And
Were
just
you going to say something, Kathy?
Yeah, that's something they don't tell you when you're filing. They never tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
But it did happen to me because I didn't know many years ago. I didn't know. And as a matter of fact, as I'm going to be president um, in June, I was looking at the documents and making sure that our was filed already this year, just because I was filing mine and I was like, let me just check Navo, make sure theirs is done too, because it's happened. And then I have friends that are in business, and every January I say, don't forget, don't forget. And yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
another
so
good
crazy.
thing to remember too, that March 17th date, nonprofit organizations, if you miss 2 consecutive years with that March 17th date, you automatically dissolve that nonprofit. And
Oh, wow.
it takes a lot to get that reinitiated back again.
Wow.
That is good. That is absolutely good information to know. Well, thank you so much, Lillie.
Thank you.
I mean, if I could give you a virtual round of applause, that was absolutely great information, and we will be sharing her contact information later. Now we're going to transition to just sharing a little bit about speaking topics that DPI has. We do speaking virtually, we speak in person, and these are just some of our topics. And so if you're looking for or need someone to come in, speak with your team, whether it's on the retail side and you're looking at pricing models for a successful business, or leading with compassion during layoffs. Southwest just announced major layoffs in their industry. And so there is a way to do it with leading with compassion. Um, Difficult employees, strategic planning workshop that we have in December, virtually, in person. If you are in need of us, visit us, fill out a contact form, dpi2.com. We would love to come and speak and share with your employees. And since we've already gone through our question and answers for Lillie, I'm going to now transition to introducing Rosalind. She is my twin sister. I've known her the longest of any person that I know. But she is one heck of an accomplished business owner. And we can move to the next screen. For over 25 years, Rosin Rice has been at the forefront of corporate retail, shaping the strategies that have driven both local and global success. Throughout her career, Rosalind has thrived in fast-paced environments where adaptability and quick thinking are key. So whether she's coaching sales teams, she's analyzing trends, or leading efforts, she approaches every challenge with creativity and optimism. She is known for her strategic mindset, and she has also had genuine relationships that she builds with everyone from C-suite executives to field teams, empowering them to contribute to the company's success. She has influence beyond the corporate world as a best-selling author and a business consultant with FIU's College of Business. She is passionate, absolutely passionate about sharing her knowledge and inspiring future leaders. And so, with that, Rosalind, take it away.
Wow. That's pretty cool, Renee.
I know, and that's only a snippet of all that you've done. So,
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I am excited to be on the DuckTales of Lillie and just really talking about um, let's talk about, once you kind of get those final tax documents, some financial metrics that you want to review. Because a lot of times we take that and we file it into a digital folder, or we will file it away in a filing cabinet. But it is important to really look, even year to year, at the numbers that are presented to you in partnership with your CPA. So the first one is total revenue, really understanding at a total level how much revenue you bought into your business. Also looking at the gross profit margin. When you look at gross profit, it's just literally your sales minus your cost of goods sold. So everything that it costs you to be able to get that revenue, which includes your, let's say that you're doing, in my example, consulting, that 1 hour of consulting, right? Whatever my cost is for that 1 hour of consulting is a part of that cost of goods sold, your shipping, your freight. I know Kathy's in logistics. What it costs you to get your inventory into the United States, like that is a part of that gross profit number. It's also important to look at how much you are compensating yourself. I know many times business owners don't know how to pay themselves, don't know how to give themselves distributions, whether it is reinvesting money back into the business, or they are paying themselves a bonus, right? That number, I feel, is one to really look at. Your tax deductions. I think Lillie talked about bringing down that tax liability. That's where that tax strategy and planning really comes in. It's something that you do throughout the year. It's not just when it is time to file your taxes in March or April, or even if you get an extension, but really looking at, did I deduct everything? And I loved that list, Lillie, of many times things that are overlooked in regards to, like, if we're working from a home office, that we might not think about. Debt and interest payments. It's important to understand your liquidity in the market in regards to your finances. Really looking at, how much debt do I have? Am I able to pay that? How much did I pay in interest payments? I always say it's important to fund your growth and not your need. I have some business owners that will say, hey, I need to have a loan. And when I ask, they're trying to fund a need. They want to pay off a credit card or something that they've already purchased. But truly, when you're looking for that kind of forecasting of where you want your company to go, maybe it's new equipment, it could be a new office, it could be inventory that you need for the next kind of big holiday shopping season. You want to be able to fund your growth. It could be a new employee or a new subcontractor. It's important to look at where you are from a liquidity standpoint in regard to your debt and interest payments. All right. Now, the strategic ways, and Lillie, I know, actually talked about this, but how are you able to use these numbers in a strategic way? I think Renee said, what I am known for is my strategic mind. And I think it had something to do with when I was in corporate retail. Every Monday, I had to come with a strategy and understand what sold the weekend before, what didn't sell, how I was getting rid of it. So having that strategy as you're looking at those key metrics, you can budget. It's important to have an operating budget for your business. It's important to know, many times we hear the word budget and it's like, oh, I don't like that name, but budget just is telling your money where to go. How much do you want to spend for advertising? Or how much do you want to spend for marketing, for office supplies, for all of the different areas of our business? When you are looking at your tax documents that you filed, those expenses are on there, and it allows you to see. I remember the one year that I was incredibly high in regards to my travel, and really the next year was able to course correct that. So that budget planning is important. Cash flow management. How is money flowing in and out of your business? I had a business owner that I had interviewed one time, and they told me, look, I got $200,000 in the streets, meaning that was showing up on his accounts receivable. When that happens, you're not then able, when you don't have that cash flowing in and out of your business in a healthy way, what it will do is put you in a very precarious position when you need to pay those operating expenses, when you need to pay your payroll, your subcontractors, you need to buy more inventory or more product. So that cash flow management is one that you can think about in regards to strategically, how do I make sure that I have a billing process, an invoicing process, so that cash is flowing in and out at an acceptable time. Profitability, it's important to know how much profit am I actually keeping in my business. And you can see that from your tax documents. If you are on average, I will say, you'll be surprised for every dollar you bring in from a profit perspective. Once you've paid your operating expenses, your cost of goods sold, you probably will keep somewhere between 10 to 15 cents on every dollar, which does not seem like a lot, but that is the average in regards to your profitability. So it's important to look at, did I take a loss or did I take a gain in that past year? And how does that look if you go back and look 3 years into your financial documents? Loan and funding preparation. If you are needing to get a loan or needing to get some type of funding because you want to make a large capital investment in your business, like I said, equipment, it could be a person, some human capital that you might need. They're going to look at your financial documents. I remember when Renee was telling me about when it came time for COVID and the EIDL loans and that PPP, you had to know your numbers. You needed these financial documents to be able to pay for that money that the government was providing during such a tight time. And then tax strategy and compliance, just making sure that you are filing in a timely method. So I wanted to do this case study. Love Manufacturing is my own made up company, but I think it's important for you to just see some of the numbers and just how you're able to kind of build that strategy. So we can see in Love Manufacturing, there's a total revenue of $750,000. When I looked from a previous year, they were up 15%. So that's very healthy. That top line sales number, woohoo, Love Manufacturing is doing well. When I look at what it costs to be able to make $750,000 at cost of goods sold, it was stable, $300,000. So they were able to kind of run flat in regards to their cost of goods sold. So that gross profit was up 15% from the previous year. Operating expenses increased by 10% at 280,000. And I think right there you would ask the question, why did operating expenses increase? And most likely you will know and be able to say, hey, we invested in this new system, this new technology. We wanted to provide AI in regards to predicting consumer behavior or whatever it might be. So knowing that when you see that that number has increased in regards to your expenses, it's like, oh, what happened? Looking at the net profit, again, this is all fictitious. Higher margin indicates improved pricing or efficiency. So from one year to the next, that net profit actually had gone up. Looking at the owner's draw, the owner was able to pay themselves $80,000. And sometimes that number can be extremely low, or maybe it's too high and you want to course correct. And then looking that there were $20,000 in interest payments, just in interest, right? So not the principal part of it, but just the interest payments. So when that happens, you can look at your operating costs and understand, where do I need to cut? I know we had a client one time where we were able to cut almost 50% of her operating cost simply by allowing her, she made a tough, not a tough decision, made a decision to go hybrid in her workspace versus having all the overhead of having an actual office. But you can start building a strategy around your profit, and just understanding, like I said, the deductions, the credits that you might be overlooking. I remember before I first started working with Lillie, I didn't know there was a tax deduction for my children being in college. I was like, really? Oh my God, he's already done like 3 years. And I missed that opportunity to be able to deduct that on our taxes. So it's incredibly important to look at the numbers and really focus on the tax planning and strategy. So any questions, Renee?
Well, that was good information. And when we talk about understanding your numbers, that gross revenue,
Mhm.
gross sales, because of I have the insurance business, and that is a question on the application when you're applying for general liability insurance or you're applying for workers' compensation or professional liability insurance. They're going to ask you, what are your gross sales? And they're going to also want to know what's your payroll on an annual basis. And so it's important to even know for just those necessary, vital pieces of your business, what your numbers are. It's absolutely important. You said something, Rosalind, that I think we might need to just mic drop on. You fund your growth and not your need. That I don't know if you made that up or you heard it somewhere and you're just dropping it here, but that is so important because really you find yourself in a critical situation if you're having to fund your day-to-day expenses.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like that something's going wrong. And I've been there. I remember looking at my numbers one year and I was so lopsided on my marketing expenses. I was paying more for marketing than I was paying payroll. And I'm like, what is going on? And so I had to do a quick 180 on that. So it's so important to know those numbers. But I've said enough. Anybody else? Any questions?
I,
Lily,
I want to say
Kathy?
on the cash flow statement, it's important to also look at the months where you have peaks and valleys. So when you are, and Renee, you're really good about this. If you know where the peaks and valleys are in your business, you will know that, okay, on the months where it feels like it's famine versus feast, you want to be able to make sure that you keep some back for those kind of, and feast when your business is like, I mean, you're just excited about all the money that's flowing in. You want to make sure that you keep some cash reserves for those feast moments in your business. So having cash flow statement and, depending on the accounting software that you might have, like Lily talked about, you'll be able to pull that statement so easily. And now they have, AI integrated, so they're able to predict out your cash. But you want to look at it from month to month.
Mm-hmm.
What are the peak months? What are the slow months? I think it's why I'll give an example. It's why Amazon does Amazon Prime in July and October. Those are normally incredibly slow months for retail. And so to bring some energy into those months, they do Amazon Prime days.
Wow, I didn't realize that was a reason.
Yep.
Um, on the insurance side, with my business, we're extremely slow in the winter months. Nobody's thinking around holiday, oh, let me go do something different with insurance, right? Because all money is typically being spent on being hospitable to individuals, family gatherings, and then gifts. And so a lot of times, because I know that, especially in December, that cash flow is going to be significantly lower, I'm doubling up on my payments for expenses in November and
Yeah.
October to prepare for the slower months in December and January. So because of that, so important.
What about you, Kathy? Like, and Lily, I can imagine as an accountant, whew, man, money comes at the beginning of the
It
year
comes
unless you
at the
have a whole
beginning
bunch
of
of,
the year, and like
yeah.
right now, it's like, okay, oh, I can pay off credit card debts. But by September, October, it's like, okay, where am I going to get this extra money from now to manage throughout the last 4 months? And like you said, it comes with the planning part.
Yeah.
So I would
Mhm.
need to put in more accounting jobs in this summer and fall, which then would help flow me through to January when I start the tax season back up. So
Mhm.
it's all about looking at the numbers and
Mhm.
seeing what brings in that revenue, what can I adjust, what can I add in, and what do I need to take out if it's killing my revenue.
Absolutely.
Great point. Okay.
Have you looked at it by month?
Yeah, for me, as I said, I had the company. I have the company for 23 years now, and in the first 20 years, I did not know my numbers. I didn't. I just made money and then I spent money, and I didn't really. And it was moderate growth. During those 20 years, I was learning so much about running a business. And gosh, it's 5 years now. I got an outsourced CFO who actually ran the numbers for me and explained what those numbers meant.
What's the difference?
You know, like what you were just saying, Rosalind, about all the different profits, revenues, et cetera.
Yeah.
And then where the, you know, the peaks and the valleys were. And now I can look at a balance sheet and expense report and I knew exactly what's going on. I mean, the one good thing is that she told me, she goes, you are the most conservative CEO I've ever met. Your spending is like non-existent. And I always have been. I've always been really tight with the expenses because you just don't never know what's going to happen. I went through a recession. Okay, a 6-year decline. It was like that. So after that happened to me, it's like I don't spend unless I absolutely need to, and then I have the money to pay for it. So knowing your numbers is, in my opinion, the key to success as a businesswoman, period.
Absolutely. And for the person who is only looking at what is on hand in a bank account, that is not the true health. That is not the health of your business. You need that balance sheet. That balance sheet is like it's your blood pressure, it's your A1C, it is all the things.
Yeah.
That balance sheet. So it's incredibly important to be looking at those numbers. Yeah.
That's so true. And Rosin, I want you to go back, if you could pull the screen back up, because Kathy said something that's so important. We know what we know as business owners, whether it's logistics or insurance or accounting or whatever the case may be. We need help. As business owners, we need help. We need someone to partner with us, to come alongside us. I wanted to just highlight, Rosin, our retail services. I know for those that may be watching this on replay, if you're in the retail space, DPI just launched the ability for retail consulting to come alongside you and to help you with whether it's pricing, understanding and knowing what to price your product as, pop-up event strategies, your loss prevention, holiday planning, visual merchandising. So much there. And so you can visit us at DPI2.com to just take a look and see and schedule some time with us. That initial meeting is always complimentary, and we would love to be able to assist you in any way and coming alongside you. I would ask if you could take out your phone, please go to YouTube. Visit our YouTube channel, watch a video, subscribe. It helps to get the information out. We have so many nuggets. We have some other information out there with regarding taxes and accounting and other services and resources that are available to you, everything from marketing to selling. So visit our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. We are trying to increase our numbers there. We are so thankful that you have been with us this morning. I do want to leave how to get in contact with either Lillie or DPI. Oh, I forgot. We do have a webinar coming in March. And so that is going to be coming soon. It's a really good topic, menopause in the workplace, and just how that might impact you. Rosin and I are women of a certain age, and so it is a very important topic, and it will impact your business in one way, shape, or form, whether it's through your employees or you yourself. And so that webinar is coming soon, and in March, Women's History Month, and we have an expert who's going to be sharing out information. So just be on the lookout for that. And with that, I leave you with the contact information for Lillie if you have any additional questions, or also for DPI where you can visit us. Our information, you can follow us on pretty much every social media channel that is available, from LinkedIn to Instagram to Facebook. And with that, if there are not any further questions, we thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Yeah.
Yay. Kathy, I am so happy you came. Hopefully you got some good, great
I did.
information.
Yes. Thank you.
And your
Thank you so much. This was
vulnerability.
great.
Your vulnerability of just about your first 20 years in business.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thanky you for that.
Definitely try to get out to more women like this, more women starting out. I think if I would have known this 20 years ago, who knows where I would be, you know?
Mhm.
So yeah, what you guys are doing is great.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
Excellent.
financial management piece is so important. And I have to say, But, kudos to Lillie. Like, Lillie, you are, that time that you spent with the IRS really investigating businesses and how you are bringing that to help, small businesses understand how to have that strong foundation in regards to their finances. I don't think I had ever met anyone like you. I always
Thank
felt like
you.
whoever sat in that tax seat was against me, not
Mhm,
really for me.
Yeah,
mhm, mhm.
Go ahead, Kathy.
yeah,
And that was the
yeah,
one
no,
thing
and the
I
thing is that that
seen.
is
Mhm,
true. It's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that was the one thing I seen when I was working with the IRS was that many times the adjustments and the disasters that the companies were having, it was because of lack of knowledge. And it would just drive me crazy that if the accountant or preparer just told them you should not be doing A, B, and C, it would have made a difference 5, 10 years later. It really would have made a difference.
Wow.
Yeah.
It made a difference.
Many people just don't know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And we finished a little bit early, so we're giving you
Yes.
13 minutes back in your day. Thank you for joining us. We
Okay.
really do appreciate you being here with us.
All
Thanks.
right.
Y'all have
Thanks
a
a
good
lot. Okay,
day.
yeah, have a good day. All right.